If you can read, otherwise I can read for you.
I will just try, Mataji. Okay. So we're doing Srimad Bhagvatam 6, 11, 19. Suresha Kasman na hinosi vijram pura stithi verini may amugaham masam samya samyashtha na gadeva vijra yan nispalaha kripan theva yachna. Maybe I didn't do justice. Mataji, you want to go ahead and read?
No problem. Yes.
Okay, please read that. Then I'll...
Suresha Kasman hi no Shivajram Purasthite Vairini Mayamogam Ma Sanshayishtanagadeva Vajraha Syanishpalaha Krupartheva Yajna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So we'll do the translation purported by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. O King of the Demigod, since I, your enemy, am standing before you, why don't you hurl your thunderbolt at me? Although your attack upon me with your club was certainly useless, like a request of money from a miser, the thunderbolt you carry will not be useless. You need have no doubts about this. Purport. When King Indra threw his bolt at Vritrasura, Vritrasura caught it in his left hand and retaliated by using it to strike the head of Indra's elephant. Thus, Indra's attack was a disastrous failure. Indeed, Indra's elephant was injured and thrown back 14 yards. Therefore, even though Indra stood with the thunderbolt to hurl against Vritrasura, he was doubtful, thinking that the thunderbolt might also fail. Vritrasura, however, being a Vaishnava, assured Indra that the thunderbolt would not fail, for Vritrasura knew that it had been prepared in accordance with the instruction of Lord Vishnu. Although Indra had doubts because he could not understand that Lord Vishnu's order never fails, Vritrasura understood Lord Vishnu's purpose. Vritrasura was eager to be killed by the thunderbolt manufactured according to Lord Vishnu's instruction, because he was sure that he would thus return home back to Godhead. He was simply waiting for the opportunity of the thunderbolts being released. In effect, therefore, Vritrasura told Indra, if you want to kill me, since I am your enemy, take this opportunity, kill me. You will gain victory and I shall go back to Godhead. Your deed will be equally beneficial for both of us. Do it immediately. Thank you, Mataji. So, Mataji, you can go ahead and I will be muting and hearing only. Yes, because of time situation. Yeah. Thank you for the.
Yeah. Manidhar Prabhu, would you like to read one verse and then I will read the later one? Okay, Manidhar
Yeah,
Prabhu.
Mataji, 1 second.
Verse number 20, yeah.
20.
Did you start recording, Prabhuji? We can start it.
Yeah, it is going to the YouTube. So we are at the 6, 11, 20, right? 20.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Prabhuji, sorry.
Are we reading the Sanskrit verse as well?
Yes, Prabhuji. If you are not able, I can read for you.
Let me try. Dhanvesha Vajrasa Va Shakrate Jasa Harer Dadiches Atapasa Chatejitaha Taineva Shatrum Jahi Vishnu Yantrito Yato Harir Vijayaha Shri Shrir Gunas Tataha. Translation: O Indra, King of Heaven, the thunderbolt you carry to kill me has been empowered by the prowess of Lord Vishnu and the strength of the Dadichi's austerities. Since you have come here to kill me in accordance with Lord Vishnu's order, there is no doubt that I shall be killed by the release of your thunderbolt. Lord Vishnu has sided with you. Therefore, your victory, opulence, and all good qualities are assured. Purport given by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Dhritarashtra not only assured King Indra that the thunderbolt was invincible, but also encouraged Indra to use it against him as soon as possible. Dhritarashtra was eager to die with the stroke of the thunderbolt sent by Lord Vishnu, so that he could immediately return back home, back to Godhead. By hurling the thunderbolt, Indra would gain victory and enjoy the heavenly planets, remaining in the material world for repeated birth and death. Indra wanted to gain victory over Vitrasura and thereby become happy. But that would not at all be happiness. The heavenly planets are just below Brahmaloka. But as stated by the Supreme Lord Krishna, Abraham Bhuvanal Lokaha Punar Avartino Arjunaha. Even if one achieves Brahmaloka, he must fall to the lower planetary systems again and again. However, if one goes back to Godhead, he never returns to this material world. By killing Vritrasura, Indra would not actually gain. He would remain in the material world. Vritrasura, however, would go back to the spiritual world. Therefore, victory was destined for Vritrasura, not for Indra. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Alec Prabhu, would you like to read one verse? Are you available for that?
No, Mataji. You can. Please.
Okay, no
Sorry for
problem. No problem. Puja Mataji, would you like to read one verse 21? No, Alec. Yes. Nikunja Prabhu Ras. Nikunja Prabhu will read. Nikunja Ras. Yeah, 6.11.21.
I'm having a bad throat. Sorry. Hare Krishna. Aham samadhaya mano yathaha naha shankarshanaha tat charnarvinde tvad vajra ramo lulita gramahya paso katim muner yami apavidha lokaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. By the force of your thunderbolt, I shall be freed of material bondage and shall give up this body and this world of material desires, fixing my mind upon the lotus feet of Lord Shankarsana. I shall attain the destination of such great sages as Narada Muni, just as Lord Shankarsana has said. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The words Aham Samadhaya Manaha indicates that the most important duty at the time of death is to concentrate one's mind. If one can fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, Vishnu, Shankarshana, or any Vishnu Murti, his life will be successful. To be killed while fixing his mind at the lotus feet of Shankarshana, Vritrashura asked Indra to release his Vajra or thunderbolt. He was destined to be killed by the thunderbolt given by Lord Vishnu. There was no question of its being baffled. Therefore, Vritrasura requested Indra to release the thunderbolt immediately. and he prepared himself by sorry, fixing his mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. A devotee is always ready to give up his material body, which is described here in Gramya Pasha, the rope of the material attachment. The body is not at all good, it is simply a cause of bondage to the material world. Unfortunately, even though the body is destined for destruction, fools and rascals invest all their faith in the body and are never eager to return home back to Godhead.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Puja Mataji, would you like to read next one? Okay. Partha Prabhu, I can see Partha Prabhu. Prabhuji, since today's speaker is not joined, he had some emergency other commitment. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, one verse by one, everyone. So would you like to read one verse? It will be 6.11.22. Okay. I will go ahead. 6.11.22. पुंसा किलेन कांतधियां स्वकांतानां या संपदो दिवि भूमैरसायां नराति यद्वेष उद्वेग अधि मर्दः कलिवर्षनं संप्रयासः. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Persons who fully surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always think of his lotus feet are accepted and recognized by the Lord as his own personal assistants or servants. The Lord never bestows upon such servants the brilliant opulence of the upper, lower, and very planetary system of this material world. When one possesses material opulence in any other of these three divisions of the universe, his possessions naturally increase his anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. Thus, one goes through much endeavor to increase and maintain his possessions, and he suffers great unhappiness when he loses them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita 4.11, the Lord says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tatvaiva bhajayam aham mama vartamanu vartanam te manyusyaha partha sarva saha. As devotees surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Partha. Both Indra and Vastrasura were certainly devotees of the Lord, although Indra took instructions from Vishnu to kill Vastrasura. The Lord was actually more favorable to Vastrasura because of after being killed by Indra's thunderbolt, Vastrasura would go back to Godhead, whereas the victorious Indra would rot in this material world. Because both of them were devotees, the Lord awarded them the respective benedictions they wanted. Vastrasura, Vatrasura never wanted material possessions, for he knew very well the nature of such possessions. To accumulate material possessions, one must labor very hard, and when he gets them, he creates many enemies because this material world is always full of rivalry. If any, if one becomes rich, his friends or relatives are envious. For Ekanta Bhaktas, unalloyed devotees, Krishna therefore never provides material possessions. A devotee sometimes needs some material possessions for preaching, but the possessions of a preacher are not like those of a karmis. A karmi's possessions are achieved as a result of karma, but those of a devotee are arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead just to facilitate his devotional services activities. Because a devotee never uses material possessions for any purpose other than the service of the Lord. The possessions of a devotee are not to be compared to those of a karmi. Hare Krishna. Partha Prabhu, would you like to read one verse? Okay.
I can read, Mataji.
So, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anybody would like? Yes, Prabhuji?
Somebody want to read?
I see Partha Prabhu. You all are read. Actually, we have done our turn, but I see the Partha Prabhu. He didn't read, so I was asking. But I think he's busy. So,
Hare Krishna. So we are
would,
reading 6:11:23.
mm,
Traiv vargikasya vigitam asmatpaitair viditai purushasya shakra tato anumeyo bhagavant prasado yo durlabho kinchana gocharan anyahi. Translation: Our Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, forbids his devotees to endeavor uselessly for religion, economic development, and sense gratification. O Indra, one can thus interfere how kind the Lord is. Such mercy is obtainable only by unalloyed devotees, not by persons who aspire for material gains. Purport given by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. There are four objectives in human life, namely religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation from the bondage of material existence. People generally aspire for religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification, but a devotee has no other desire than to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, both in this life and in the next. The special mercy for the unalloyed devotee is that the Lord saves him from hard labor to achieve the results of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Of course, if one wants such benefits, the Lord certainly awards them. Indra, for example, although a devotee, was not much interested in release from material bondage. Instead, he desired sense gratification and a high standard of material happiness in the heavenly planets. Vritasura, however, being an unalloyed devotee, aspired only to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord arranged for him to go back to Godhead after his bodily bondage was destroyed by Indra. Vritarasura requested Indra to release his thunderbolt against him as soon as possible so that both he and Indra would benefit according to their proportionate advancement in devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. 6.11.24. Aham Hare Padekamula Dasanudaso Bhavatismi Bhuyaha Manah Smareta Supatir Gunaste Grunita Vak Karma Karoti Kayaha. Translation by Shri Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, will I again be able to be a servant of your eternal servants who kind who find shelter only at lotus feet, your lotus feet, O Lord of my life, may I again become their servant, so that my mind may always think of your transcendental attributes. My words always glorify those attributes, and my body always engaged in the loving service of your lordship. Purport. This verse gives the sum and substance of devotional life. One must first become a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Dasanudas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, and he also showed by his own example that a living entity should be always desired to be a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. The maintainer of the gopis, Gopi Bharata Padakamala Yora Dasa Dasanudasa. This means that one must accept a spiritual master who comes in the disciplic succession and is a servant of the Lord. Under this direction, one must then engage one's three properties, namely his body, his mind, and his words. The body should be engaged in physical activities under the order of the master, and the mind should think of Krishna incessantly, and one's word should be engaged in preaching glories of the Lord. If one is thus engaged in loving service of the Lord, one's life is successful. Next verse, would you like to read, Prabhuji? 25, 6.11.25. Are you busy, Manitra Prabhu?
Oh, for to me? Okay,
Yes,
sorry, Mataji. Yes.
no problem.
Nanak prishtham na cha parameshthyam na sarvabhaumam na rasadhipatyam na yoga siddhir na yoga siddhira punar bhavam va samanjastva virhamya kangshe. Translation. O my Lord, source of all opportunities, I do not desire to enjoy in Dhruvloka, the heavenly planets or the planet where Lord Brahma resides. Nor do I want to be the supreme ruler of all the earthly planets or the lower planetary systems. I do not desire to be of the I do not desire to be master of the powers of mystic yoga, nor do I want liberation if I have to give up your lotus feet. Purport given by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. A pure devotee never desires to gain material opportunities by rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. A pure devotee desires only to engage in loving service to the Lord in the constant association of the Lord and his eternal associates, as stated in the previous verse. The son, the soul, Bhavitasami, Bhavitasmi, as confirmed by Narottam Das Thakur, Tandera Charan Sevi Bhakta Sanivas Janme Janme Haya Ei Abhilash. To serve the Lord and the servants of his servants in the association of the devotees is the only objective of pure, unalloyed devotee. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. Hare Krishna. So I read the next. 26, text 11, 6.11.26. अजातपक्षा इव मातरं खगाः स्तन्यं यथा वत्सराः क्षुधार्तः प्रियं प्रियेव योषितं विषण्णां मनोरविन्दाक्ष तित्रक्षते त्वाम्. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O lotus-eyed eyes, Lord, lotus-eyed Lord, as baby birds that have not yet developed their wings always look for their mother to return and feed them, as small calves tied with ropes await anxiously the time of milking, when they will be allowed to drink the milk of their mothers. or as a morose wife whose husband is away from home always longs for him to return and satisfy her in all respects. I always yearn for the opportunity to render direct service unto you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A pure devotee always yearns to associate personally with the Lord and render service unto Him. The examples given in this regard are most appropriate. A small baby bird is practically never satisfied except when the mother comes to feed it. A small calf is not satisfied unless allowed to suck the milk from the mother's udder. And a devoted wife whose husband is away from home is never satisfied until she has association of her beloved husband. So next verse. Prabhuji, would you like to read? Manita
Okay.
Prabhu?
Yes, Mother. ममोत्तमश्लोकजनेषु सख्यं संसारचक्रे भ्रमता स्वकर्मभिः त्वयन्माया आत्मजदर्गहि गेहेश असक्ता चित्तेस्य नननाथ भूयात्. Translation of my Lord, my Master, I am wandering throughout this material world as a result of my fruitive activities. Therefore, I simply seek friendship in the association of your pious and enlightened devotees. My attachment to my body, wife, children, and home is continuing by the spell of your external energy. But I wish to be attached to them no longer. Let my mind, my consciousness, and everything I have be attached only to you. Purport given by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay, there is no purport. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 6th canto, 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Transcendental Qualities of Vritrasura. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very nice. Thank you. Prabhuji, would you like to explain a little bit on these verses or any your realization?
Um, I cannot enlighten, but I mean, all these verses are good. Basically, from what I see here, Vritasura, even though he's going to be killed by the power
Indra.
of like the Dichi's bones, there was this thunderbolt was created. So Vritasura know that he's going to be killed. Still, I mean, and he knows that he's going to be killed, but he knows that it is a blessing for him because this is the desire of the Lord as well. Basically, I mean, so that Indra can retain his place. So he's happy to be killed because he knows that he will go back to spiritual world. So he's happy for him. So he's saying that basically it's a win-win situation for Indra and for him as well. He will go back to spiritual world and Indra will retain his place. So I mean, and other verses also like it is mentioned this material world is not a place for us. So we should do all the endeavors, all the um, endeavors to perform bhakti, so that we can go back to Godhead in this lifetime only. Otherwise, we'll have to take birth again and again, and you know, so so that's why Prabhupada ji is saying that we should chant Lord's name as much as possible, and we should always be remembering Lord and connect with his devotees so that we can progress. I think these are few points, Mataji. I can remember.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah, that's true, Prabhuji. So devotees are always ready to accept whatever is the God's will, if it is because we have very limited power to see it is good for us or not. But uh, the Krishna has larger picture vision, so he does whatever good for us. Like Indra was willing his material opulence, so Krishna allowed him to do that. And Vatsasura wanted to be killed by the Dichi Rishi, when his bones, which Vajra thunderbolt, yeah, which we call in Hindi or Marathi Vajra Astra. So, so that was God's Krishna's desire, and devotees are always accept to whatever God's desire. The pure devotee, like who, because Indra is also devotee and Vatsasura is also devotee, but pure devotee always would like to accept Lord desire whatever he has. And the another point Prabhupada was explaining that uh, Krishna gives material opulence to his devotees to serve him. So we can have look at the example of Amrish Ford, his Grace Amrish Ford, Prabhuji, who has so much opulence, but he is using all his most part of his opulence to Krishna's service to build Mayapur temple. Like we have so many temples here in Baltimore. Also, we built a temple, but the half of the construction cost was bared by Ananta Gauranga Prabhu. So, like in Pune temple also, uh, the Bajaj, the Bajaj company, the owner of that, he is also involved in that Pune temple construction, NVCC temple. So these devotees, pure devotees, Krishna allows opulence to them, and because Krishna knows that they will use their opulence in Krishna's service. So here is also Prabhupada explained very nicely. So these points I remember, Prabhuji. So anybody would like to elaborate on that? Little bit discuss on that. Partha Prabhu, we didn't hear you today.
Mataji, I was
Okay, so yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I was a little busy. Sorry for sorry.
No problem.
I have to catch.
Okay, no problem, Prabhuji. So, Manindra Prabhu,
Please
can we
forgive me.
stop here?
Yes, Mataji.